Listen to me carefully. There will be nights when no one calls you, days when no one understands you, moments when you feel like the entire world has forgotten you. Moments when you feel like the entire world has forgotten you. And in those moments, you will think you are alone. But what if I told you that's not your weakness, that's your power? I used to fear being alone. I used to think that if people left me, I had lost something. But then I realized something life-changing. When people walk away, distractions disappear. When noise fades, clarity begins. Because when you are truly alone, you are not abandoned. You are being prepared. God removes people, removes comfort, removes shortcuts, not to break you, but to build you into someone stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. Alone doesn't mean empty. Alone means undistracted. Alone means connected with your purpose. Alone means closer to God than ever before. When you are alone, it's easy to feel a sense of emptiness, like the world has moved on without you. You scroll through your phone, seeing people laughing, celebrating, achieving, and you think, why am I stuck here? Why am I not part of this? But here's the secret that most people never understand. Those moments of solitude are not your punishment, they are your opportunity. Being alone is the rare, precious space where you get to meet yourself for the first time, not the self everyone else wants you to be. Not the version shaped by opinions, expectations, or judgment, but the real, raw, unfiltered you. Think about it. When you are surrounded by people, friends, colleagues, family, you are constantly performing. You laugh when it's expected. You hide when you are hurt. And you adjust who you are to fit into the world's expectations. It's exhausting, isn't it? That's why so many people feel tired, empty, or disconnected even in a room full of people. But when you are alone, there is no audience, no mask, no script to follow. Suddenly, you have the freedom to breathe, to think, to feel, to question. Who am I? What do I truly want? What drives me? These are questions that can only be answered when you step away from the noise and face yourself honestly. Imagine a painter with a blank canvas, standing alone in a quiet studio. No one is watching, no one is critiquing, no one is rushing. This is where the masterpiece begins. Not under pressure, not in the spotlight, but in the quiet, private moments of creation. That is exactly what solitude does for your life. Alone, you begin to paint your own masterpiece. You start to understand your fears, your passions, your dreams. You realize what lights you up and what drains you. You discover your strengths, sometimes hidden for years under the weight of others' expectations, and you confront your weaknesses not as failures but as raw material for growth. Daily life offers countless small examples of this discovery. Have you ever woken up early in the morning while the rest of the city sleeps, sipped a cup of coffee quietly, and felt your thoughts wander? Those few minutes when no one is texting, calling, or demanding your attention are not wasted. They are sacred. You start to understand patterns in your life, ideas you have ignored, and the whispers of dreams you have forgotten. Or think about walking alone in the park, feeling the breeze, noticing the details of life that are usually overlooked. That's when you hear yourself think, not your job, not your responsibilities, not anyone else's voice, just your own. That is when self-discovery begins. Even challenges in life, like losing a friendship, ending a relationship, or facing rejection, push you into solitude. At first, it hurts. It feels unfair. It feels lonely. But if you lean into it instead of running from it, You realize that those moments strip away the distractions and force you to sit with yourself. You start to ask the hard questions. What do I truly value? What kind of person do I want to be when no one is watching? How can I live a life that feels authentic, not just acceptable to others? That is the power of being alone. It doesn't isolate you. It introduces you to the most important person in your life, you. And here's something most people miss. The more you embrace being alone, the more confident you become. Because self-discovery is not just about knowing your likes and dislikes. It's about trusting yourself. It's about realizing that even if the world doesn't cheer for you, even if the crowd doesn't notice, you are enough. You have what it takes to think, to act, to create, and to thrive, all on your own. I have what it takes to think, to thrive, all on your own. And once you understand that, your relationships, your work, your dreams, they all shift. You stop seeking validation. You stop chasing validation. You stop chasing meaning. Think about the simple daily choices. Sitting down with a journal after a long day and writing your thoughts. Taking a walk alone to reflect on your week. Choosing to say no to something you don't truly want to do. These small acts, when done alone, reveal the layers of your character and help you build a life that aligns with who you really are. You begin to notice what drains your energy and what fuels your soul. You understand why certain people make you feel small, why certain habits make you feel stuck, and why certain dreams excite your heart in ways nothing else can. Ultimately, solitude is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the moment when you strip away the superficial, the external, and the expected, and you meet the real you. You see your own light, your own courage, your own potential. And when you finally step back into the world, you are no longer dependent on others to define your worth. You carry your own compass, your own direction, your own power. So yes, being alone can feel uncomfortable at first. But it is in that discomfort that the magic happens. It is in those quiet moments. It is in those quiet moments, in those pauses between obligations and distractions, that you discover your truest self, the self that no one can take away, the self that can face any challenge, the self that is ready to create, inspire. Alone is not loneliness. Alone is freedom. Alone is power. And the sooner you embrace it, the sooner you unlock the most important relationship you will ever have. The relationship with yourself. When life feels quiet, when the noise of the world seems to fade, and suddenly you find yourself facing long stretches of solitude, it is easy to feel forgotten, left behind, or even punished. You might wonder why doors that once seemed open suddenly close, why opportunities vanish, or why people you counted on disappear from your life. You ask yourself, why me? Why now? But here's the truth that transforms everything. God doesn't isolate you to break you. He isolates you to prepare you. Think about it in simple terms. Have you ever watched a seed buried under the soil? For weeks, it is in darkness, surrounded by dirt, unseen by the world. It might seem like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, every fiber of that seed is transforming. Its shell softens, roots stretch down, a shoot pushes upward, and slowly, silently, it becomes ready to grow. If that seed had sprouted too early, before it was ready, it wouldn't survive the elements. Isolation is God's way of letting your roots grow deep before the shoot reaches for the sun. The same happens in your life. When God allows moments of isolation, losing friends, stepping away from comfort zones or enduring quiet seasons, He is giving you space to strengthen, to grow, and to prepare for what is coming. You may feel unproductive or restless, but often the preparation is invisible. It's in the habits you build when no one is watching, the character you develop in silence, the patience you cultivate when results are delayed. Every quiet day, every moment when you feel overlooked or alone, is part of a divine process shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Look at everyday examples. Imagine an athlete preparing for a big competition. The days spent training alone in the gym, running in empty streets, repeating drills over and over, those are not glamorous moments. There is no cheering crowd, no applause, no recognition. Yet those quiet hours are what create the strength, endurance, and focus needed to win. The struggle in isolation is what builds the power to perform when it truly matters. Life works the same way.
God uses the alone time, not to punish, but to prepare you for the victories, opportunities, and responsibilities ahead. Consider someone learning a new skill or studying for a big exam.
When friends are out having fun, you sit alone, reading, practicing, improving. At the moment it may feel lonely or frustrating, but years later, that discipline and preparation become the foundation for success. That quiet preparation shapes your abilities and your mindset. Without the isolation, the deep focus and internal growth wouldn't happen. Even in relationships, isolation has a purpose. Sometimes, God removes people from your life, not because He doesn't care, but because the presence of certain individuals could limit your growth or cloud your judgment. When you are alone, you have the clarity to reflect on your values, understand your needs, and strengthen your boundaries. You learn to depend not on the validation of others, but on the quiet strength within you and the guidance of God. You discover resilience, patience, and faith that cannot be built in noise or distraction. Daily life provides smaller, yet powerful reminders of this principle. Perhaps you've had a week where nothing seemed to go right. You faced rejection at work, misunderstandings with friends, or personal challenges that seemed overwhelming. Misunderstandings with friends warming. If you pause and look closer, these moments of struggle are often preparation disguised as hardship. They teach problem solving, patience, and courage. They push you to confront what you once ignored, to strengthen what you once neglected, and to grow in ways you couldn't in comfort. God's preparation in isolation also teaches timing. You may want immediate results, instant recognition, or quick solutions. But the quiet seasons teach you that growth cannot be rushed. Just as the seed takes its time under the soil, so does your journey. Every challenge, every pause, every solitary hour has a purpose. Every solitary hour has a purpose. It's shaping your skills, your perspective, and your character for the right moment. A moment when you will be ready, strong, and unshakable. And here's the most inspiring part. Isolation prepares you not only for success but for significance. It is easy to achieve something valuable, hence the world is supportive, easy, or predictable. But achieving something meaningful, creating impact, or fulfilling your purpose requires preparation that only solitude and reflection can give. God's preparation in isolation ensures that when the time comes, you are ready to stand tall, face challenges with confidence, and seize opportunities without hesitation. So, when you feel alone, when it seems like the world has left you behind, remember this.
Isolation is not empty. It is full of purpose.
It is not a punishment, it is preparation. God uses these quiet, unseen moments to sharpen your mind, strengthen your character, and cultivate resilience. He is molding you into a person capable of handling bigger dreams, deeper responsibilities, and greater challenges. The world may not see it yet, but the preparation is real. And when the time comes, you will rise stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. Embrace the solitude. Lean into the quiet. Trust the process. God is preparing you, and when the moment comes, the power born in isolation will shine through everything you do. Have you ever noticed how noisy life can be? From the moment you wake up, your mind is bombarded notifications, messages, emails, demands, opinions, responsibilities. The world is always talking, always pulling, always expecting. In that chaos, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, distracted, and disconnected from yourself. Today, let us dive into this truth. You try to focus, but your attention keeps splitting. Your energy gets drained. But here's the secret few people realize. When you are alone, all that noise fades. The distractions disappear, and suddenly, clarity emerges. Think about it. When you are alone, there is no one telling you what to think, no one judging your choices, no one pushing you to conform. You are free from the external pressures that, dictate your life. In solitude, your mind is no longer cluttered by others' expectations. The voice of comparison quiets, the chatter of opinions fades, and the constant pull of distractions, both digital and social, loses its grip. For the first time in a long time, you can hear yourself think. You can hear your own dreams, your own fears, your own ideas. And that's where real growth begins. Daily life gives us perfect examples of this truth. Think about studying for an important exam. When the room is full of people, every conversation, every movement, every sound pulls you away from focus. But when you are alone in a quiet corner, completely undisturbed, your mind sharpens. Ideas start connecting, concepts make sense, and understanding flows naturally. That same principle applies to life. Dot here is. Dot connecting concepts make applies to life. Your purpose, your creativity, and your clarity emerge when distractions disappear. Even in professional life, this is evident.
Some of the world's most successful people have discovered their greatest ideas in moments of solitude.
Away from meetings, away from emails, away from the constant pressure to perform in front of others, they find the mental space to innovate, plan, and grow. Solitude becomes the incubator for brilliance. When you remove the noise, your mind can finally focus on what truly matters. Think about the simple things in daily life. Think about the simple things in daily life. When was the last time you took a walk alone without your phone in your hand? Just walking, breathing, and noticing the world around you? In that quiet, the mind wanders to thoughts it never has time for during a busy day. You think about your dreams, reflect on your choices, and gain insights about your relationships, career, and personal growth. That clarity is impossible to achieve in constant distraction. Even emotions are better understood in solitude. When you are constantly surrounded by people or distracted by devices, you may feel your emotions, but you don't understand them. Anger, fear, sadness, or even joy can feel overwhelming. But when you are alone, you can face your feelings directly. You can examine why you feel what you feel, uncover the root of your emotions, and respond consciously instead of reacting unconsciously. Distractions disappear, and suddenly you are fully present with yourself. That presence is powerful. It allows you to make better decisions, nurture your growth, and align with your true purpose. Consider creative pursuits. Writers, artists, inventors, and thinkers have always known the power of solitude. The painter who loses herself in her canvas, the musician who disappears into a melody, the musician who disappears into a melody, the writer who sits in silence with just a notebook and a pen, all of them find that their best work comes when the world's distractions are removed. Solitude is not loneliness. It is a space where your mind can expand without interruption. Your focus sharpens, your imagination awakens, and your potential becomes visible. Even personal growth works the same way. When you are alone, away from the influence of peers or society, you can examine your habits, your mindset, and your daily choices. You begin to see which routines serve you and which hold you back. You notice where you've been compromising, procrastinating, or giving energy to things that don't matter. The distractions of life vanish, leaving behind the space for reflection, adjustment, and transformation. And here's something even more inspiring. The clarity gained in solitude doesn't just make you more productive or creative, it makes you more confident. When distractions disappear, you learn to trust your own thoughts and instincts. You no longer need constant validation, approval, or guidance from others. You discover that your mind, your heart, and your spirit are capable of navigating life on their own. This confidence becomes a shield against negativity, a fuel for ambition, and a foundation for lasting success. So the next time life feels overwhelming, when the constant noise and distractions threaten to pull you off course, remember this: solitude is your secret weapon. Alone, you find focus, clarity, and insight that no one else can give you. Distractions disappear, and your mind becomes sharp, your heart becomes clear, and your purpose becomes clear, and your purpose becomes kandir. Those moments of quiet, when the world pauses and you are left with just yourself, are not moments of weakness, they are moments of incredible power. Alone, without distractions, you can think deeply, create passionately, and grow profoundly. You can see what truly matters, plan what truly serves your purpose, and connect with the potential that has always been inside you.
The world will always be noisy, demanding, and distracting, but in those moments of solitude, you have discovered your greatest advantage.
Focus becomes your ally, clarity becomes your guide, and your life begins to move in the direction it was always meant to go. Loneliness is often seen as a weakness, a state to escape from as quickly as possible. People fear it. They fill it with noise, distractions, social media, and constant busyness. But what most don't realize is that loneliness is one of the most powerful tools life gives you to build inner strength. It is in the quiet moments when you feel disconnected from the world that the most profound transformation begins. Think about it for a moment. When you are surrounded by people, supported, praised, and distracted by company, it is easy to feel capable, but that capability is often dependent on others. It is external. True strength, the kind that does not falter when circumstances change, is forged in solitude. When you are alone, there is no one to rely on but yourself. Your courage, resilience, patience, and perseverance are tested. You are forced to dig deep, confront yourself, and find solutions within. That is where inner strength grows. Daily life gives us countless examples. Have you ever stayed up late working on a project while everyone else is asleep? At first, it feels exhausting, maybe even lonely. But as the hours pass, you find focus, determination, and resourcefulness that you didn't know existed. The absence of external support pushes you to rely on your own skills and discipline. By the time you finish, not only have you completed the task, you have also strengthened your ability to overcome challenges independently. That's what loneliness does. It removes crutches so that you can learn to walk on your own and eventually run. Even emotional challenges reveal this power.
Even emotional challenges reveal this power.
When a friendship ends, a relationship fails, or you face rejection, the initial pain feels unbearable. You feel like the world has abandoned you. But if you lean into the loneliness instead of running from it, you discover resilience. You learn that you can survive heartbreak, disappointment, and criticism without collapsing. You learn that your worth is not tied to anyone else's approval, and that your strength comes from within. This is the kind of strength that no external praise or validation can ever replace. Think about the athletes, artists, and leaders who inspire us. Most of their greatest achievements were forged in moments of solitude. The runner waking up at 4 a.m. to train alone in the cold. The musician practicing scales in an empty room for hours. The writer staring at a blank page long into the night. These people learn to depend on themselves, to push through discomfort, be comfort, and to embrace loneliness as a teacher. They didn't wait for motivation from others. They discovered motivation from within, and that inner strength is what set them apart. Even in small, daily habits, loneliness builds resilience. Cooking a meal alone, cleaning your space, or taking responsibility for your own life without anyone guiding you. It may seem mundane, but these acts teach independence and accountability. The more you handle life's responsibilities alone, the more confident you become. You realize that challenges are not permanent obstacles. They are opportunities to grow, adapt, and strengthen your mind and spirit. Loneliness also teaches patience and emotional stability. When you are alone, you cannot rely on constant social interaction for happiness or reassurance. You learn to sit with your thoughts, process your feelings, and develop a calm strength that does not need external validation. This patience becomes a superpower in life. You begin to understand that temporary discomfort is not failure, that waiting does not mean weakness, and that enduring difficulty builds a foundation of inner power that lasts a lifetime. Another crucial aspect is self-reliance. Life does not always guarantee support when challenges hit. There will be times when you feel abandoned, misunderstood, or completely alone. Loneliness trains you for those moments. It teaches you to be your own anchor, to make decisions without external approval, and to trust your instincts. When life tests you, and it always will, you will be ready. Not because others helped you, but because your inner strength has been cultivated in the quiet, lonely moments. Even spiritual growth connects to this principle. Many wise people and spiritual leaders often speak of the power of solitude. It is in loneliness that the mind clears, the heart opens, and the soul grows stronger. You begin to see life more clearly, understand your purpose more deeply, and realize that your greatest power lies not in others' presence, but in your own resolve. So, when you feel lonely, don't despair. Don't rush to fill the void with noise, distractions, or temporary comfort. Instead, see it as a gift. Loneliness is a teacher, a forge, and a proving ground for your inner strength. Every tear you shed alone, every challenge you face without support, every quiet hour you spend reflecting, learning, and growing is building a version of you that is resilient, fearless, and unshakable. Embrace it, sit with it, learn from it. Because when you step back into the world, you won't just survive, you will thrive. You will carry a quiet, unbreakable strength that no circumstance, no criticism, and no challenge can take away. Loneliness is not the absence of life, It is the presence of power waiting to be discovered within you,